Senate is about Nigeria and Nigerians.
Welcome to this week's episode of Inside the Senate. I am Aisha Muhammad Ahmed, your anchor. And on this episode of Inside the Senate, we shall begin a review series of activities in the Senate before it embarked on recess on Monday, 7th August 2023. One of the high points of those activities was the screening of new service chiefs as submitted by President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. Within the same period, the new board of the Northeast Development Commission, NEDC, was also screened and the nominees approved. Also in this package is an extensive interview with Senator Peter Onyeka Nwebonyi from Ebonyi North. He will be talking about the role of the Senate in rebuilding the confidence of Nigerians in the Legislature and in the current administration. Details of these and more when the program resumes after the break. Please stay tuned.
The agenda of a lawmaker want to make law
to ensure peace and security of this country.
My main aim is to do the core mandate.
Representation that will bring a lot of improvement.
Thanks for staying tuned. Aside the screening and confirmation of ministerial nominees, the Senate has a mandate to screen nominees into leadership and board positions in various MDAs of the federal government. These assignments is usually carried out by the committee that oversees the agency in question. However, the 10th Senate, in the absence of constituted committees, had to approve the confirmation of nominees for appointment as members of the board of the Northeast Development Commission, NEDC, as requested by President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. It has also screened and confirmed the appointment of the nation's service chiefs in line with the act establishing the armed forces. Details of these screening in our first report on the program. Keep watching.
The nominees for the chairman and members of the management board of the Northeast Development Commission were screened on Wednesday, the 26th July 2023. The nominees include retired General Paul Tarfa, reappointment chairman from Adamawa State, Honorable Gamboma Ikomo, member from Taraba State, Abdullahi Abbas, member from Kano State, Tsaf Stephen Ondona, member from Benue State, Chief Mutiu Lawal Are, member from Lagos State, Honorable Samuel Ifeanyi Onuigbo, member from Abia State, Frank Achinike Owo, member from Rivers State, Muhammad Gwani Alkali, reappointment Managing Director from Borno State, Musa Yashi, reappointment Executive Director, Humanitarian Affairs from Bauchi State, Ahmad Abdul Salam, Executive Director, OPS from Gombe State, Dr. Abubakar Garba Ilya, Executive Director, Administration and Finance from Yobe State. Muhammad Gwani Alkali, who was renominated for the position of Managing Director, was present on the day for the screening.
Since our inception, today I can proudly say that we have over 600 projects across the Northeast, cutting across all sectors: education, health, housing, human capital development, and so on and so forth. And these projects cut across only 112 local governments of the Northeast. And today, we have a project, one project at least, in each of these 112 local governments of the Northeast.
Commending President Bola Ahmed Tinubu for his selections, the Senate asked for a presentation on the accomplishments and obstacles encountered so far at the NEDC, to which Muhammad Gwani Alkali provided his insight.
The key mandate for the Commission was produce a master plan that would take care of the developmental needs of the Northeast. Today, I'm proud to say that that master plan has been developed and endorsed for execution. And in that master plan, we have 11 pillars. Those pillars cut across industry, agriculture, education, empowerment, and so on and so forth. The challenges that 2 trillion naira, but what we are getting annually is just a very, in terms of comparison, very small. So I'm sure as we start execution, I'm sure we'll come back to the chamber to request for support to see that we execute that master plan as seriously as possible, as practical as possible, to cover all the noses. Thank you, sir.
Senators from the Northeast region also lent their voices to the screening process.
The Northeast Caucus will partner with you. We'll make sure that those projects, the 600 project mission, are supervised. And of course, if there is anything that is left over, it is our responsibility. Of course, there will be a committee that will oversight you, but we resolve as a caucus in making sure that money is made available to actually come to you. But you have to guarantee before the Senate that those monies, when available, are actually utilized as at prescribed by the Constitution. No money is spent by the nation except in a manner prescribed by the National Assembly. And I want you to take that particular clause very, very serious. No money should be spent until it's done in a manner prescribed by the National Assembly.
There was overbearance by the Ministry of Humanitarian Affairs. This commission is not set up for the ministry. It's set up for the people of the Northeast. And I will advise here that the projects, the programs, must be programs and projects that are initiated by our states.
Representing Northeast Gombe State.
The nominations were then reverted to the Committee of the Whole and approved by the Senate, after which they were confirmed.
Those in favor say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it.
Still on screenings, the Armed Forces Act A20, Laws of the Federation of Nigeria, subjects the appointment of service chiefs to the confirmation of the National Assembly. Following this provision on the 13th of July 2023, the Senate in the Committee of the Whole screened the new service chiefs appointed on the 19th of June 2023 by President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. The appointed service chiefs include Major General Christopher G. Musa, Chief of Defense Staff, Major General Taurid Lagbaja, Chief of Army Staff, Rear Admiral Emmanuel I. Ogala, Chief of Naval Staff, as well as Air Vice Marshal H.B. Abubakar, Chief of Air Staff. The military chiefs were ushered into the chamber at about 12 noon and took turns to speak on their operational engagements and objectives if confirmed.
I've led men in battle, administered troops in peacetime, and played with the children of my colleagues. I've interacted and socialized with my fellow citizens, seen the rigors of war, visited the injured in hospital, and delivered condolences to the loved ones for those who have paid the supreme price for our country. My experiences as a military officer shaped my unshakable faith in our country, the unlimited power in its unity and greatness of its people.
Insecurity has distorted our developmental plans and aspirations as Nigerians. The volatile, uncertain, complex, and ambiguous nature of our contemporary security environment makes leadership challenging and therefore demands new skills that are proactive, adaptive, and inclusive. And I make bold to say that is what I intend to bring on board as the Chief of Army Staff.
If given the chance, my mandate, my command philosophy as the Chief of Naval Staff, I will be committed to leading with integrity, courage, and relentless pursuit of excellence. I believe in the power of teamwork, discipline, and human capacity development. My goal is to ensure that every Nigerian Navy personnel and civilian staff is equipped, trained, and ready to execute our mission effectively.
Bearing in mind the huge investment by the government, a lot is expected on the Nigerian Air Force to deliver on its mandate and ensure peace returns to troubled spots in the country. It is on this premise that we intend to provide justification to government for the support we are enjoying so far, and even as the rebuilding efforts continues. Therefore, though our ultimate focus will remain our war-fighting capability, immediate steps will be taken to institute the NAF as relevant to government's everyday peacetime development efforts as possible.
The rest of the screening continued behind closed doors. Thereafter, the question for their confirmation was put before the senators.
Those in favor say aye. Aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it.
That was a summary of some of the confirmations of presidential nominees done by the Senate since its inception in June 2023. Next is a notebook segment. Stand by for our topic of the week.
The gavel is a mallet used by the presiding officer during the Senate plenary or a committee proceeding for commanding attention, announcing the end of a deliberation, or confirming a legislative action. It is so important that it is used by all legislatures around the world.
We are fighting for this democracy. This country will definitely improve in terms of development and progress.
Nigerians deserve better living.
What is the team and the legislature, they are going to put in their best for a better Nigeria.
Welcome back. Senator Peter Onyeka Nwebonyi represents Ebonyi North Senatorial District of Ebonyi State in the 10th Senate. In a chat he had with our crew last week, he speaks on various subjects, including his insight on the Senate's responsibility in reinstating public trust in the legislative body and the present administration. For a start, he shares his thought on the growth of the legislative arm of government in Nigeria in over 20 years, even as he describes the parliament as the beauty of democracy.
The legislature is one of the essential elements of democracy, meaning that the parliament is the face of democracy, because no other form of government, you can have the executive, you can have the judiciary, but you never have the parliament. So the parliament is the beauty of democracy. That is to say, it's the essential element of democracy. So far, so good. We're doing well as a nation, and I believe that more will be expected of us as leaders in Nigeria.
Senator Nwebonyi also said that the current administration, complemented by the 10th Senate, is helping Nigeria reclaim its title as the giant of Africa.
Remember, before now, our country, Nigeria, is seen as the giant of Africa. But unfortunately, for some setbacks, it appears as if that title has been, taken away from us. But with the policies and programs coupled with very fantastic strategy Ahmed Bola Tinubu is coming up with, we are gradually reclaiming that mandate as the giant of Africa. So far, so good. As a member of the 10th Senate, we've come up within the last 2-3 months that we've been in operation, come up with life-touching and people-oriented policies and programs, all geared towards making Nigerians happy. Because I've always defined leadership is leaders accepting to carry the burden of the lead and not the other way around.
Amidst the challenges faced by the Nigerian populace stemming from the removal of fuel subsidy and the elevated exchange rate between the dollar and the naira, leading to a notable surge in the cost of commodities and services, Senator Nwebonyi calls on Nigerians to have faith in the current administration.
see some of the pragmatic steps taken by the president by removing the fuel subsidy, even though it's biting hard on the citizenry. But this is a mandatory and compulsory sacrifice, we must make as a nation, for us to move from one step to the other. And I believe that in no time, the positive effect of that, subsidy removal, will come up, and Nigerians, I'm sure you will be happy again. So far so good. The new renewed hope is there, and Nigerians should expect the best in no time.
As a lawmaker, he speaks on the role of the Senate in rebuilding the confidence of Nigerians in the legislature and in the current administration.
It is our duty as lawmakers in the 10th Senate to come up with policies, with laws that will make Nigerians happy. And I will take you to our first sitting in this 10th Senate. I came up with a motion. What is the motion talking about? You will agree with me that if you move along Nigerian roads, you are being forced to pay for you to access the road by the Nigerian police and other security agencies. And nobody says anything about that. For you to move from east to north, for example, if you're a commercial driver, for you to move from Ebonyi to Abuja, you must budget 50,000 naira for security agencies on the road. Because in any of the checkpoints, they will demand money from you. Not that you are carrying an exhibit, but it has been a tradition that you must pay them for you to have access to the road. This is a serious anomaly, and it is biting hard on the citizenry. So I came up with a motion directing the IGP and other security chiefs to stop that. Nigerians don't need to pay for them to exercise their right of easement. They have right to stop and search any vehicle or anybody being suspected of committing any crime, but not on the innocent, poor and pauper citizens that are trying to make ends meet.
Senator Nwebonyi also shares his thought on the security situation of the nation.
In the southeast, we are facing IPOB, bandits and unknown gunmen. In the north, we are facing the Boko Haram and the herdsmen and farmers clashes and what have you. So I believe that the present government is actually taking serious steps to put this menace to a stop. You can see the directive of Mr. President charging the security chiefs, giving them a timeline to make sure that this is nipped from the board. And so far so good. The security in the southeast, where I come from, is gradually improving. Today, people go about their normal business on Mondays, which was a kind of what do they call it? A sit-at-home day, because of their leader Nnamdi Kanu. They say that every Monday must be sit at home, and of course, people out of fear obey it, not because they are in support of Biafra or the agitation, but for fear of being killed, because no one wants to die. So people on Mondays don't come out to do their businesses or even go to work. But as it stands today, with what the security chiefs are doing, I must tell you that the people of Southeast are happy, and we believe that that problem will be solved completely.
In closing, Senator Nwebonyi, while commenting on the just concluded screening and confirmation of the ministers by the Senate, commended President Bola Ahmed Tinubu on his choice of individuals for the Federal Executive Council.
I must commend Mr. President because the caliber of men and women he forwarded to form his Federal Executive Council are all men of integrity and with a proven capacity. And that is why we had to do our job thoroughly. People felt that we were going to be rubber stamped, but we can say we did our job as an independent institution. Do you understand? Those that ought to be cleared were cleared. Those were, found wanted were, stepped down. And that goes to tell the world that nobody is dictating, for the Nigerian Senate. We are an independent institution and nobody commands us. Even the presidency cannot command the Senate. These are separate organs of government, the executive, the legislature, and the judiciary. We do our job, independently.
The agenda of a lawmaker want to make law
to ensure peace and security of this country.
My main aim is to do the core mandate.
A representation that will bring a lot of improvement.
Those were highlights of our chat with Senator Nwebonyi, a first-time senator, as he shares his perspective on the 10th Senate and its role in rebuilding the confidence of Nigerians, amongst other things. Our profile segment is next on the program. Do stay tuned for our Senator of the Week.
Senator Ipalibu Gogo Banigo is the current senator representing the Rivers West Senatorial District. She won the 2023 elections into the Senate under the platform of the People's Democratic Party, PDP. Senator Ipalibu Gogo Banigo was born on 23rd December 1952 in Degema, Rivers State. She earned the West African School Certificate, Division 1, and the Higher School Certificate at Queen's College, Lagos. She obtained a Bachelor of Medicine, Bachelor of Surgery from the University College Hospital, Ibadan, and attended Harvard University School of Public Health for her master's degree. Between 1990 and 1992, Senator Banigo received diplomas in both tropical hygiene and dermatology from the University of London. Senator Banigo's career began at Rivers State Port Health Service, advancing to roles like Registrar of Births and Senior Medical Officer. She later became an honorary consultant dermatologist at the University of Port Harcourt. In 1985, she led Rivers State School of Health Technology. Notably, she held significant posts in Rivers State Ministry of Health. From October 1995 to July 1999, in October 1995, Banigo was appointed the Secretary to the Government of Rivers State, a position she held until July 1999. During this time, in May 1998, she also served as the Head of Service of Rivers State for 5 months. Banigo was selected by former Rivers State Governor Nyesom Wike in 2014 to be his running mate in the 2015 gubernatorial elections and was sworn in as the 6th and first female deputy governor of Rivers State in May 2015, a position she held until 2023. Senator Ipalibu Gogo is interested in promoting the health and welfare of Nigerians and is the current chairperson of the Senate Committee on Health.
The agenda of a lawmaker want to make law
to ensure peace and security of this country.
My main aim is to do the core mandate.
A representation that will bring a lot of improvement.
Us to the end of this week's edition of Inside the Senate. Join us next week for another edition, and don't forget to communicate your questions and opinions via any of our feedback channels. See you next time, and thanks for watching.